Smithfield School Committee meeting of September 17, 2019 to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Lombardi?
Yes. I'm here.
Mrs. Sheriff?
Yes, I'm here too.
Mr. Carmel? Mrs. Johannes?
Here.
Mr. Jones will be absent. Mrs. Nail?
Here.
And Mrs. Bott? Here.
Great, thank you. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So as you recall, at the last meeting, we continued the public hearing on the Halliwell naming rights. I'd like to reopen, so I entertain a motion to open the public hearing. Motion's been made. And seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. So we're in the public hearing, the Halliwell naming rights. Does anyone want to speak on this? Superintendent, did you want to, I know you had a conversation with Mr. Halliwell.
Yes.
Did you want to say anything in that?
Sure. He did meet with me a couple weeks ago, and then afterwards with Mrs. Dana, and he sent a letter in. I provided you with copies. I can read through it, or I can summarize our conversation, however you would like to proceed.
Let's enter the letter into the record, and Superintendent, if you want to just summarize, that would be great.
Okay. So he came to the office, and it was wonderful. He brought some additional information on Dr. Halliwell, and he thanked the school committee. He thanked all of us for having the hearing and considering the naming and keeping his legacy alive. But what he did realize after the meeting, he said that he wasn't recommending to change the name of NSES to Halliwell Memorial School. That he liked the flow that we had right now. I think he saw something I had posted, or it was listed as NSES, NSMS, NSHS. And he liked the way that read, that felt. He also, and one of the things we did is that I showed him pictures of Halliwell, of the addition and all the renovations we were doing. So I was taking this opportunity to show off all that we were doing, and he really felt that NSES is its own entity. It has its own character. He did mention something about maybe naming the addition and the outdoor classroom. We did talk about one of the things that, one of the ideas that had surfaced at some point was to, just like as you drive around the state and you see the name of a school and it says an Alan Sean Feinstein School, that as you walk into NSES, it is NSES, but there is over the entrance a Dr. Halliwell Memorial School. We did talk about all the memorabilia we have from Dr. Halliwell, the portrait, the photographs of North Smithfield back in the day. And one of the things that we talked about was that, say if it were at NSES, there would be I showed him the renovations for the new entryway, and how bright and colorful it was, and to have a board up there on the wall, a memorial board, and that would have his portrait. That may have his bio, maybe something that the high school kids could research and write, and then maybe we could have the sign made up, and along with some photographs, and again, just to keep the doctor's legacy alive for anybody who comes into the school. So ultimately, and you can read through the letter, and which I have to say, he was very complimentary to me. All right, just remember that. And Mrs. Dana, all right, so the two of us we did feature very prominently in his letter, just realize that. But ultimately, he was withdrawing the recommendation for renaming NSES as Halliwell School and really putting it into our hands to keep the doctor's legacy alive and do the right thing.
He's a true gentleman.
He truly
He's
is.
just a true gentleman.
Well, it was, like I said, a marvelous meeting because I was able to show them the pictures and all the renovations at the high school with the science labs where we're at with that, and especially NSES. It's been reborn through color, and he was very pleased to see our schools moving along and doing well. And again, he just has so many wonderful stories about North Smithfield and the doctor and his own career within North Smithfield. So it really truly was a highlight of the week to sit down with him.
I actually had a conversation with him today as well, and I had a conversation with him today as well, and he just wanted me to pass along that he has a great deal of faith in the school committee, and whatever he do, he will support. Whatever we decide to do, he will support us 100%. And he's very proud of everything that's happening here in North Smithfield, and he loved your pictures. So I just wanted to pass that on.
Anytime I can do a slideshow and not bore somebody, it's just wonderful stuff.
Thank you, Sue. Does anybody else want to speak on this? Hearing no further conversation, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Motion's been made.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Well, I guess maybe I'll give you what my feelings are. I think, at least from what I heard, that the Halliwell site is the Halliwell site. And I know it's a Halliwell Memorial School, but I think that area is considered to be Halliwell, and I think that many people associate it with Dr. Halliwell. I'm wondering if at this point, prior to turning the building over, because once it's not a school building, I'm wondering if the name would actually continue, but send a letter to the council and just ask them what their intent is on that site, and possibly just maybe get some resolution from them or something saying that they would continue with honoring Dr. Halliwell at that site, no matter what it is. We may in the future need that site for another school or something else, but that site is associated, at least my opinion, is that site is associated with Dr. Halliwell. Then on the school side, I think that, in my opinion, the wing, because that wing wouldn't be there unless we closed Halliwell School, that wing can be dedicated to Dr. Halliwell. And so it's almost like the wing is dedicated, but we still have the area that's Halliwell. And everybody associates that area with Dr. Halliwell. And I think that we have to, that's my opinion, that we should continue
And
that.
the kids who are in that wing are or would have been Halliwell students.
So I don't know if we want to, at this point, I'd like to hear additional conversations if we want to just send a letter to the council asking them what their intent is with naming that area and maybe possibly what they're going to do with that building. I know there's a lot of ideas. It would be a long uphill battle to make it a senior center or a community center, etc. But maybe just to find out what they want to do in regards to naming that site. And then we would feel comfortable with the wing, or at least I would feel comfortable with the wing.
I definitely support that idea. I was curious to know myself what the town had in mind to do with that site. I hope that we keep it and keep ownership of it, because someday down the road it could be necessary, and it's a prime location. I also agree that, to me, that's Dr. Halliwell, that site. like the idea of renaming the wing, and since we have the wing, I think it's an ideal spot, as you said, to do to put up all his pictures and whatever memorabilia we may have in dedication to him. And someday down the road, should there ever be a school again at the Halliwell site, that can go over. I think that's a great idea. So I'm definitely in support of that. I'd like to know what the town has in mind. Especially their intention of whether to retain it or sell it.
I think it's important to us to know what their intent is. There's no doubt about that. And I also like the idea of a dedication area that's dedicated specifically to him, because we all know that Halliwell School, everyone in this room, that will always be Halliwell School, the Halliwell site. So, I agree with what you have to say. We need to find out what they want to do with the property.
Perhaps when we do that, we can send the minutes from the first public hearing so that they're aware of what the public had to say with regard to keeping it. That it's not just coming from us, it's also coming from citizens.
Right. And Claire O'Hara will certainly fill everybody in, so.
I'll personally reach out to Councilwoman O'Hara, because I know that she's a little more, she wants, passionate on, I think, the North Smithfield Elementary School being renamed. But I have no problem explaining to her that many people have said it's the site. It's not whether it's a school or not a school or whatever. It's the area they call Dr. Halliwell. And of course, we do want to continue on the school side honoring him with the wing. And we're going to hope that the town council will do something with that area and keep the name. That's
Well,
important.
and I think what's also important with the construction of the new wing, it's not just the new wing, but it's also an outdoor classroom space. And we are setting up information for a public showing for that, and we'll send that out. And I think people will be very impressed, not just with the classrooms themselves, but also the plans for the exterior, because there were a lot of enhancements to have the kids playing outside. And we have the outdoor classroom that's going into place, and there's going to be some plantings that will happen. And so it's going to continue to just become a better place. And especially with that connection to the outdoors, that is one of the things that I think a lot of people saw Halliwell School as one of the benefits.
So, we'll continue the matter of Halliwell naming rights. That's okay. And if you want to vote to authorize me to write a letter with the unanimous vote with the minutes, respectfully requesting, what the town council plans on doing, and lean towards it's our hope that you would continue naming the site Halliwell Memorial Site, in memory of Dr. Halliwell, something to that effect. Motion's been made. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. I'll entertain a motion to continue Halliwell naming rights. Motion's been made. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the 2020 Rhode Island Student Survey.
Dr. Piva's not here.
Okay.
She was going to do a presentation to give you the overview. So we're running a bit early right now.
Okay, that's a good thing. All right, so we have public comment. Councilman, do you want to say anything? Okay, community comments? And Superintendent, as soon as Dr. Piva comes in, let us know and we'll take that short. Thank you.
And if for some reason she doesn't make it, I can page hit. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll move to the consent agenda. Does anyone want to take anything off the consent agenda? The only thing I want to at least draw attention to is, which is a change in procedures or policy, is the procedures on contracts. I had a conversation with the superintendent about expenses under, and I want to make sure obviously everybody agrees, with expenses that are under $5,000, not required to be bid, that the superintendent has the authority to enter into a contract for less than $5,000. Superintendent, obviously, there are other, you have to, there are other procedures that you have to use. You have to maybe call 3 vendors, whatever the state law is.
Absolutely.
And so, but I don't think that we necessarily should be voting on things that are less than $5,000, but that's up to the committee. I think state law is $5,000 that you would have to go out to bid. Once you go out to bid, I think then we would have to approve or reject. Anybody have any questions on this? So I'll keep it on the consent agenda. Just wanted to point it out. I don't think I have any questions, so I'll take a motion to pass the consent agenda. So motion's been made and seconded. Let's roll call.
Mr. Lombardi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mrs. Johanna?
Yes.
Mrs. Mayo?
Yes.
And Mrs. Vaughn? Yes. Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Item number 6. Does anybody have any questions on item number 6? If not, I'll entertain a motion to recommend the North Smithfield Town Council approve the payments of these invoices.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lombardi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mrs. Johanna?
Yes.
Mrs. Mayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Vaughn?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
And Dr. Piper has just arrived.
Okay.
You can give her a chance to catch her breath, take a moment, or have her jump into action.
Well, she must get out of here. That's what she wants to bring down.
Okay, sounds
Time
good.
to jump into action.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so we're ready for you.
Okay, great. I was just sitting outside trying to make sure. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the Rhode Island Student Survey. I met with Mr. Jean a couple of weeks ago. So I'm a URI professor, although I'm served here with 2 hats because I have 4 kids here in North Smithfield as well. So the Rhode Island Student Survey is a survey that I started administering for DDH, which I never remember the acronym, in 2016. So we do it every other year, and typically we administer it to about 22,000 middle and high school students. The whole point of it, although it seems a little lengthy and sometimes the questions, people often are like, why you're asking all of this, really get at substance use, bullying, as well as some mental health issues. So at first, in 2016, when I started doing this, I realized North Smithfield was one of the communities that didn't. And so while I was really passionate about it, because I feel like us gathering this data is really important for us to be able to write grants, to be able to get extra services, like the student assistance counselor that we have now in the high school, as well as writing bigger grants that can get a lot of prevention activities going, which I see. I'm very active in the prevention field. I work with, actually I've been working with Portsmouth, lots of other communities. So I see what that grant money can actually fund and how it can really impact mental health, not only just substance use. So pretty passionate about it, both from a parent side, because my own son, he's a junior, and then I have 3 daughters. I see their friends, I hear the things they're talking about. I see some of the struggles that they have. So my voice gets a little shaky when I talk about my kids, but so I'm really invested in sort of trying to get the most support that we can. And I really appreciate all the stuff that we already have in town, but I see so many of the other things that come from the data that's collected there. So on that side of it, often the questions that I'm posed with is, what do you do with this data? Who do you give it to? Who sees it? What do you use it for? Which I think is very valid, because we don't want just data out there for the sake of there being data out there. We do report back to all of the schools, so the principals would get reports. Mr. St. Jean would, of course, get a report on the whole district. And then I'm in a unique position because I have access to all of the data, and being the analyst as well, I have the ability to analyze it in different ways for different grant opportunities for the town. So I hope to be able to use it in that way as well. So anyway, that's sort of about the survey and why I was hoping for us to be able to get it sort of in the works now. And then the good thing too is if we do this every other year, we can sort of track changes, and we can see if things that are implemented actually make an impact on some of those. Especially, I'm a substance use researcher, but I'm very interested in the mental health side of this, especially in light of recent events. My own son, when he heard everything that was going on here, and the delay of schools and all of that, the fact that he could think of off the top of his head 5 or 6 students that he was afraid could possibly be, it takes a lot. And he's a 220-pound football player, right? Coming up sort of nervous about that. So those types of things I think are important for us to think about, and collecting some of this important information so we know. I mean, I think teachers, guidance counselors, people like that can